to apply, method to use in order to write the history that has already been written down. Some can say historiography has to do with the writing history and of written histories, meaning you only write something that has already been written down, but you cannot write something that hasn't been written down. And this has to do with something in the past. You understand? So when you are studying historiography, you are not studying what happened in the past, but you are studying what you call the changing patterns of the past events, and then through the historian's eyes. I see the point. So what's history? The term history is derived from a Greek word called historia, and which means to inquire knowledge, and also knowledge acquired by what? Investigation. So in the Western term, they believe that Herodotus was regarded as a father of history. This is something that is debatable, but according to their own philosophies, according to their own perspective, Herodotus was regarded as a father of history. This has been for a long period of time. You understand? And then, but again, there is one thing I want to clear here. Most of the students have this misconception in relation to the study of history, that history is specifically meant for storytelling. This is very inaccurate. It is not correct at all. History does not only look at the storytelling. It is far beyond that. It is not about story of Musa Molo, Fode Kadumbi, or whatever. No, 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 no. Somebody can study history without looking into those aspects. We have environmental history, we have political history, we have social history, we have military history. Everything is history. If you go to the hospital, they must ask you about your history, your family background, whether a particular disease has not been happening, within your family, within your family. So they have to know the root cause of that problem, you understand, before they can establish or perhaps give you a medication to that particular sickness. I see the point. So history can be defined as the study of important past events, or history can also be defined as the record of important past events that has, impact on our current life. So history has to do with the past, the present, and also prepare us for the future. You understand? Or the dialogue between, the historians and the facts. Because as a historian, you need to gather facts. You need to put things together to be able to present it. You understand? Present something that happened in the past because you are not there. So when you are studying history, we have importance of studying history. One of the importance of studying history is that it enables us to, know and appreciate the nature of development in the past. That is to say, the way our ancestors have been living, what were some of the developments that were taking place? How are those developments, changing within a span of time? How do we appreciate that? If you do not read this history of the past, you may not be able to appreciate the development. So history tells us that. History also provides us with the story of how the ancient people had lived, how were they living, their economic activities, social activities, political activities. It is because of the study of history that enables us to understand the aspect. How was Musa Molo and Fodekawadube cooperating within the south bank of the River Gambia? You understand? What happened between Musa Molo and Fodekawadube until to the extent that it led to the demise of Fodekawadumbe. Next thing is, history definitely prepares us for the future. You understand? It prepares students to be future leaders. If you definitely understand what happened in the past, perhaps, some of the mistakes that have been made, you may not likely to repeat those mistakes. So it's going to prepare you for the future and make you a very good citizen. It also makes you to be tolerant of one another. You appreciate somebody's culture, somebody's tradition, etc. Because if you do not study the history of a particular ethnic group, for example, you do not study the culture of a particular ethnic group, it is going to be very difficult to appreciate and then tolerate such individuals' culture and live peacefully within the society. The last one I look at in the study of history is that it enables us, it enables people to earn living through the knowledge that they have acquired. Look at the Girios. Girios are able to make something out of, the knowledge that they have because of their dexterity, because of the skill that they have adopted. They were able to gain money out of that. People have studied all the way to PhD level, professor title, you understand, because of that knowledge of history that they have, and they are feeding their families with such money. So it's a source of income for people who are definitely involved in it. So please let us not have this concept in our mind that history is definitely looking at only um, the storytelling aspect. That is out of it. That's not the case here. That misconception is very, very wrong. History supersedes that. In fact, history is regarded as the father of all disciplines. There's what we call interdisciplinary approach when you're looking at historiography. So definitely, when you're looking at that, you know, all other subjects that you study, you must have historical background. Who is the founder of this property thing? You must have historical background of that thing before you can proceed. So basically, this is where I'm going to stop. In our subsequent lesson, we look at the sources of history. We have different types of history, different sources of history writing. In your grade 7, you were taught that there are three main types of history, or three main sources of history. That is oral, written, ancient event, or archaeology. No, they are more than that. At your level, yes, that's fine. When you go to senior school, it supersedes that. I can give you more than 10 sources of writing history. It doesn't only confine to oral, written, and archaeology. It's more than that. In our next lesson, I will look into that aspect. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.